Chat, if you haven't seen one of these before, I do these every once in a while. It's been a while since I've done my last one. But these are my analysis videos. I think the last one I done was actually over a Tixic tournament, Kim. Not the last Tixic tournament, but I think the one before that. And these analysis videos are things that I like to do. I take a look at a tournament that just recently happened, and I usually watch them live, or if I don't have the ability to watch them live like I did for this KPL tournament, I watch them after the fact, and I typically pick one game, one point that happens in the tournament that I find particularly interesting, and I like breaking it down play by play, moment by moment here on stream. This is for the express purpose of like education as well. And so even if you are a beginner or if you do play in the pro scene or play competitively or play in tournaments, I try to make sure I use terminology or explain things that are happening in a way that it's clear for everybody, with the depth that would excite the people who play at the highest level too. So let me switch this over. Hey, wait. Make sure to remember to drop a like and a subscribe down below. I plan on making some more analysis and tutorial vids in the future, and so if you like what you see, it would mean a whole lot if you went and subscribed. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you on the other side. Peace out. And I think a good place for my camera here is probably right here. And we're going to take away chat. Say bye, chat. You'll be back. Okay. We're going to, whoops, that's not what I meant to do. We're going to move me down just a tad bit. Yeah, my camera will be fine here. Okay, so the point that I've chosen here, as I've said previously, this is going to be game one of the finals. Quack Pack has made it to the finals, beating, I believe, Team Potato in the semifinals to make it here at the face-off against Vivid Obsidian. I believe Quack Pack was sent to the losers bracket. I can't remember by who. You're going to use this to beat Vivid in 1 hour. Hey, I mean, Vivid does lose this match. Spoiler alert, Vivid Obsidian loses this match. So a bit of context that comes with this. As we can see, the teams are Vivid Obsidian, which is Lazarus, Vizsla, Hop, CX, and Wingman. However, Wingman wasn't able to show up last week due to personal reasons. And so JCK comes to fill in for Wingman's spot. Here against facing off against them is Quack Pack, a team of SCM, Moswi, Johnny, and Logic. A team that has members of this team being swapped in and out in various forms, given Vivid Obsidian problems in the past, specifically Logic. Logic is a player that in past weeks of KPL has definitely put the hurt on Vivid Obsidian with his sniper play and sometimes trading off into the AK as well. Done a whole lot of damage to Vivid Obsidian, opened up a whole lot of holes. And so seeing Logic make it to the finals here, especially paired off with really strong teammates like Johnny, Moswi, and SCM, is looking like a very, very strong team. Another thing to note, Vivid Obsidian taking this match here, this finals match to Undergrowth, is pretty important. I have been following Vivid Obsidian as a team for the past, probably since September or October, months now. I have casted their team or have watched them play in pretty much every single tournament that they compete in. And something to note is that I don't think I've ever seen them lose Undergrowth. Typically, they 2-0 this map, and I think I've seen them go to Game 3 twice. This is a map that Vivid Obsidian feels very, very comfortable on, which is why I assume that they picked it to play in the finals here, right? I think Vivid Obsidian had map advantage, and so they're able to pick this finals, which is a best of one, played as a best of 3 on Undergrowth here against Quack Pack. And so, if you're Quack Pack, you have to come up with a battle plan to beat this team. And if anyone's going to lead this team to victory, I would imagine Logic is doing most of the IGLing here, as he has the most experience in successful Vivid Obsidian defeats in one way or another. So, to get us started, as we'll see, the composition that we are rolling here, I would like to, there we go, get a frame where we can actually see it. The composition that we're going to be rolling here from Vivid Obsidian, Frill, UG is their map for sure. Oh yeah, they're very, very strong on Undergrowth. The composition that we're seeing from both of these teams is pretty interesting, especially from a North American point of view. So from Vivid Obsidian, we're seeing a SMG, AK, LMG, and FAMAS strat. with Vizsla playing the LMG and JCK taking the FAMAS. Vizsla having experience on this LMG, winning week 4 of KPL on the LMG. No. Yeah, winning week 4 of KPL as the LMG. JCK taking away the FAMAS, probably just a gun he was more familiar with, and so Vizsla allowed him to probably roll with it. And then here on Quackpack's team, we have the FAMAS, AK, SMG, and the Revolver. And so the only difference here between these two team comps is the Revolver and the FAMAS. Taking a look at that, what you're giving away, if you're using that Revolver, what you're adding to your team is a lot of combo potential. And so having that Revolver there pairs very, very well into that SMG and that AK, because any chip damage that an AK can do or the SMG will do, as long as the Revolver is doing their job and hitting their heads, those can be some very, very fast, very, very quick kills that come out. And so you always have to be aware of the Revolver in these situations, especially when it's Logic, a person who is very well known for clicking heads about those combos. The FAMAS is a pretty, I would say, self-reliable gun. It combos pretty decently into these other guns. Playing it into this AK and this SMG takes a whole lot of pressure off one-bursting your opponents and finding those one bursts that you need. However, fighting those one bursts adds a whole lot of pace to your team. Finding those eliminations early can be absolutely huge. Obviously, the thing that they are giving up here for the Revolver on Team Vivid Obsidian here is the LMG, adding it a whole lot of survivability and bully potential, right? We've seen this LMG obviously be used for baiting. You've probably seen this in your competitive games. It soaks onto point really well. You tell your bottom fragger to pick it because anyone who doesn't have a brain can play it. However, here at the highest level, it's a pretty versatile weapon, and we often see it used in a variety of ways, and especially when Vivid Obsidian is playing in their best form. You'll often see like Wingman taking up this gun and instead of baiting fights, using his 3 teammates to bait and then cleaning up the fights as well. And so Vivid Obsidian, probably the best team that we've seen use the LMG, specifically on Wingman, but Vizsla is a fucking demon on it as well. Take this into the fight. And so it's really just the battle of which gun here is going to add the most value. And what we're going to see is that the gun that adds the most pace here will be the Revolver, and that's going to be significant as this game goes on. Approaching this first point right here, we see a full 4-man push onto site right here with... I believe we are spectating JC. We're spectating Hop hanging back just a little bit, right off site, just trying to get a little bit of a cross angle. I believe he's going to join his teammates on site right here. And we're going to watch as Quackpack goes full of 3 rotation all the way around. As Maswi is going to be peeking in through connector. Immediately right off the bat, we see the value that FAMAS brings, right? We talked about it before. Having a FAMAS on your team is a little bit of a gamble, right? It's got a little bit of sniper syndrome, where if you're not landing your shots, you could pretty much be dead in the water. However, if you are able to get those one bursts in, especially with the help of your teammates, it adds absolutely phenomenal pace, right? Vivid Obsidian has traded 1 kill for half of Lazar's HP and a couple ticks off of Vizsla, and Vizsla's got tons of HP on that LMG. And so right off the bat, a very, very strong start. However, at this moment, Maswi is peeling around connector right now, trying to take pot shots at Vizsla. And so they are in the process of fighting right here, right? We see Vizsla right here in this corner, in this top left corner, if y'all are able to see that mini-map, as Maswi is taking a very, very tight angle, playing very defensively. I think Maswi would have liked to get a little bit more ahead of this fight. However, Johnny dying early really hurts the Quackpack push here. So they're going to need something special. SCM is able to respond by trading away JCK for that kill. So both teams are still even. And Logic comes in with a very, very nice play. This Revolver headshot is absolutely massive, because if we take a look at what they lose here, and I apologize for the huge rewind, as this fight starts, if we take a look at how the members of Vivid Obsidian are positioned, we have Hop CX taking place right here by the box by connector, and then it's 2 people defending the connector corner push in Lazard and Vizsla, right? Both holding this corner. Vizsla holding behind this box on the LMG. Lazard holding a little bit off-site, it looks like. Yeah, a little bit off-site with the FAMAS. With the SMG. And a lot of chip damage was done by Maswi, but what it does allow is for Logic to absolutely get that snipe. Finding that headshot on the Revolver. takes away a whole lot of pressure from this right corner, which makes these pushes from connector that much easier, right? If you're pushing from connector, this low health LMG isn't that big of a threat, right? It allows Scorch to come flying in and really put the pressure on Hop. Because if Scorch flies in and Lazarn is still back here, Scorch is just getting beamed in the back of the head, defenseless. Vizsla's incredibly preoccupied with Logic. And so this is going to be a very, very nice cleanup with SCM, who I believe is... let me see. Did he change his name for this? Yeah, Scorch. I'll call him Scorch. That's way easy on me. Allows Scorch to come in and clean up those last few kills. Yeah, Scorch. It's you fucking premium users that always fuck me up. By the way, what's going on, Wing? Allowing that first site to be retook by Quackpack here. Sorry, I'm spectating a game here. Wingman that you lose. Spoiler. Spoiler alert. I spectated too many games that you win, so I have to do one that you lose because it's more of something to watch. There's more to break down in games that Vivid Obsidian loses. Allowing for a very, very nice retake. Yeah, you weren't even playing, so you didn't lose. You're fucking fine out here in the streets. But immediately right away, right? The differences that we called out in the team compositions here at this tournament have already come into fruition, right? If Logic, if instead of playing that Revolver, if they for some reason were having that like LMG subbed instead, Logic couldn't be finding those picks as early. Their overall damage would go down. You can't find that kill on Lazarn as easy, and maybe that push doesn't go their way, right? And especially for the first push of the game, having that very surprise burst damage from Logic comes in very huge. Johnny's going to be coming in from the back as Vivid Obsidian is trying to just restructure their team, get back on point, and set up a little bit of an attack coming on here. Mosby's going to be peeking out from Connector. Johnny is going to join him shortly. And it looks like, I want to say... Who is that? I want to say that's Logic also going to be joining from Connector. So it's a huge, just absolute migration from point to take away threats from Connector, right? If you are Hop right now, you need to get the fuck out of Dodge. He's going to take that fight and die for it. As unfortunately, he did not realize that the entire squad and their fucking moms was pulling around Connector. However, committing this hard to the objective, committing this hard to this Connector attack, all three members are in a very, very tight position right here, as three-fourths of the teammates of Vivid Obsidian are going to be converging onto site right now. So they're going to quickly rotate back on. Mosby taking a little bit of high ground right here. And it looks like Logic is going to be... Yeah, no, Logic's right here. Oh, you're all stacked on top of one another. Yeah, there it is. Logic and Mosby circling all the way around. Logic trying to put up a fight with Johnny to pinch them off. Vizsla is stuck in between the bullet sights of two different teammates. However, Nate Jake with a very, very nice flank to get into Connector is going to absolutely eat those teammates up for fucking breakfast. Finding a ton of value off of that for a very nice retake. It's now the 1v1 between Scorch and Jake. Jake, I think, out of ammo, switches off to the Deagle here. A little bit less damage. It all really depends on whether Scorch can hit his shots. Unfortunately, here for Vivid Obsidian, Scorch does land it. And at least for now, Quackpack still has a hold onto site. This isn't that bad. Undergrowth A in general isn't going to be the site where you're going to get your lead on. And so losing a whole lot of teammates here and only having one on to soak for 10 points every second half isn't the end of the world. Because we have more important points to come. But 30 seconds in, these two teams are very, very even though the fights in general have gone Quackpack's way both times. Unfortunately, Vivid Obsidian spawns do get a little bit staggered, with them spawning in two different locations, some spawning in B, some spawning over, I imagine, over here by round. We're going to get a site over point. Vizsla is going to fly around, and really, I think at this point, he's just trying to do some damage. He's setting up, hoping that his teammates get there soon with this double push from Connector. However, if Vizsla dies, at least they have information. He can call out the locations of these players, at least trying to put some damage in and get an elimination. Unfortunately, Vizsla's not able to do a whole lot of damage, only taking a few drops of blood away from Scorch and Johnny. And so when Hop and when Hop and Lazar come flying over, Hop and JCK, come flying over, they are going to get swiftly eliminated as they were very well prepared for a Connector push. We've already talked about this positioning against pushes against connector. Johnny and Logic standing right here, watching that connector, gives them a whole lot of cover behind this box. Johnny on the SMG can jump around, stay mobile, stay active, and stop that push right there. And this is a much more definitive win than that last fight we saw, as 3 members are still remaining. And so losing that fight as Vivid Obsidian costs you 3 times as many points on this reset. 20 seconds remain. This is Vivid Obsidian's last chance to push into this A site to at least put up a fight or at least take them off. However, a very early kill by Maswi very much hurts this team, right? However, JCK comes in. JCK comes in, absolutely does just loads of damage and finds the double kill and finds the very pivotal kill on Logic here, taking away that revolver takes away almost all of the burst damage that Quackpack could even bring up, and then taking off Scorch as well takes away all of the burst damage Quackpack could bring. And so now all Quackpack has is a SMG and an AK, which are very consistent forms of damage, but cannot shell out quick kills like that revolver FAMAS core can. Which allows, but when Maswi comes flying around, he's able to score that kill on Vizsla. However, it is Maswi against the world, going to die by Lazar's hands. Johnny is still there. Finally cleaning up those kills. However, it's a bit bloody. No one really wins in that sort of fight. Everyone kind of gets cleared off. Vivid Obsidian going to be stacking on these last few 10 points as they expect Quackpack to be at B already. Oh, whoops. We're catching elbow switching cameras out here. And it looks like on our attack here... How did Hop die? Ooh, Hop tried to peek out ramp. I actually missed that. So, not the greatest start to the push. Hop peeks out towards ramp, is able to land a couple of shots on Scorch. However, it looks like Maswi, standing on the high ground, was able to get a very, very nice angle combined with the damage from Scorch, taking out Hop early. And so now they are going to be pushing in 3 versus 4 against Vivid Obsidian. Something I want to point out here, as it's something I'm going to be bringing up throughout this entire game, is something called pace. And pace, in my opinion, is something very, very important when it comes to competitive Krunker. When you're ahead, you want to keep up your pace, keep up your momentum. When you're behind, you need to find a way to reset the pace and making sure that you're in the lead for it, right? And so far, Quackpack has won every fight. And the last fight that they won was won in a major way, right? I guess the last fight that they won was won with 1 member remaining. But they have won a fight in a major way, which allows them to have the early touch onto Undergrowth B here, allowing them to keep that pace, right? They're now perfectly stationed on the top. All 4 members are remaining, and they're now a 4 versus 3, right? If you are the attackers, if you're Vivid Obsidian, you're already pushing into a disadvantage against a team that fully knows you're coming into a site that's pretty defensively oriented, right? This is a site that generally is pretty easy to defend if you have a very organized team and you know what you're doing, especially into a numbers advantage. And so we're going to see Vivid Obsidian respect that pace and keep their distance a little bit. Lazar, Nate, Jake, Vizsla holding back, waiting for Hop to revive, is going to cost them valuable objective time. We already see this lead growing to 400 in this first minute. Lazar just trying to peek in, trying to find some early damage. However, huge damage comes out by the side of Maswi. He's going to dive for it, but does huge collateral damage with Lazarn and JCK, bringing them both very, very low. And so now Vivid Obsidian has to jump in incredibly quickly. JCK has died, traded out with Maswi by Scorch's hands. Lazarn's able to trade off Scorch. It's back and forth, back and forth. The numbers advantage is back in the hands of Vivid Obsidian off of some very, very nice plays by JCK and Lazarn. Logic's going to try and get some damage on Vizsla. However, that health pool is a little bit too big. It's Johnny versus Hop. Hop finally comes back after being revived. All of that pace was reset because Vivid Obsidian played that relatively slow, right? They hung back in main. They took that fight. They didn't push point directly. Pushing point would directly have pushed into the numbers advantage that Quackpack had. Setting back in sight and finding your kill and then finding your moment to push in is how you reset that pace, how you flip this point back in your favor if you're Vivid Obsidian. However, the big issue here is that fight took a while, right? It started with Hop dying incredibly early and ended with Johnny dying relatively late. And so Hop is going to be the sole defender on this point. And what we're going to see right here is Scorch and Maswi probably going to be interacting here with Nate Jake out in the fray, out in main. Unfortunately, we don't get to see it, but we're going to see what the aftermath of it is, right? We're going to see JCK able to find the kill on Masui, but get traded out by Logic. And so it's still just the sole defender Hop on point, finally being joined by Lazarn. Vizsla with a very nice flank here. As we can see, both Johnny and Logic are both positioned looking at sight, trying to take down Hop, as it's the only person I believe they can see. I think they probably saw Lazarn fly in, and they probably know his position. But obviously, they have no sightline. They have no option to shoot him. And so the LMG of Vizsla is going to come in, absolutely clean this up. Lazarn, with that positioning, is able to take Johnny relatively by surprise to secure that kill. Now it's just Vizsla on this site right now with a 2-kill streak. He's pretty hurt right now, but he's putting in some decent damage on Masui, and that was a very, very pivotal kill. Losing that kill right there would have been very, very bad, because that would have been a full reset on this site. And whenever you're pushing into trade fights, like we've been seeing right here, like everyone's finding their one elimination and then dying. Whenever you're losing, like Vivid Obsidian here is, you want to prevent that at all costs. And so if Vizsla died by Masui's hands, that just prolongs this whole trade interaction and keeps Quackpack in the lead. So Vizsla hitting that last elimination was probably the most important kill in that entire fight. Nate Jake is going to join his teammate. Lazarn and Hop are running there now, I believe. Yeah, here's Lazarn joining, and Hop is out, about to get shot in the back of the head by members of Quackpack, going to get killed. Again, not very good, right? Trying to maintain that pace. If you're the defenders, you need to keep that numbers advantage. Now you're 3 defenders against 4. They're going to make a very strong 2-2 push here, a double threat from main and ramp. This is very, very strong whenever you push into a numbers advantage. If you can stretch your team as wide as possible and still keep them thick, right? Having 2 members push in from one side, 2 members push in from the other. With that numbers advantage, it makes the defensive team really have to make a committal on one side rather than the other, right? If you are 3 members, sure, 2 of them may be able to watch mid, but you're forcing one person to cover 2 people on ramp, right? And so you're automatically going to be putting one of your teammates on a large amount of pressure, and it's typically where you see defenses start to fall apart. Johnny's going to come flying on in, immediately start to challenge this point to try and do his best at drawing aggro. Right? This is why I say I think SMGs are a relatively tanky class, because with their movement and wall jumping and ability to break their hitbox, flying on in and drawing bullets is a huge strength of this class. And especially when you're pushing into a numbers advantage, if you are able to take all these lines of fire and take them away from looking at ramp, away from looking at main, and force them to look here where no one is except for the SMG, you're putting your team at an even better spot to retake this site. Vizsla is going to punish the SMG for overextending like that. However, with the LMG's attention being brought away from the rest of the fight, it allows Scorch and Logic to find kills, taking out Vizsla, Vizsla having his back turn, Logic finding the head of Lazarn. I believe it was Lazarn, the only one covering mid at that point. JCK is able to find one of the eliminations from the push from ramp. However, he is left defending 1 man from ramp, 1 man from main, and absolutely clutches up. You can't script that shit. This is a fight that shouldn't be won by Vivid Obsidian. This is your classic Vivid Obsidian fucking somehow squeezing a fight out of their ass when they have absolutely no fucking reason to. Yeah, Jake is just fucking incredible, right? I mean, you look at the position that you're in right here, and by no means should you win this fight. The only reason Jake wins this fight is because of this piece of cover right here. Hiding behind blue box right here allows Jake to, instead of taking a 2v1, allows him to take 2 1v1s, right? Now, granted, he still has to win 2 1v1s as a FAMAS. It's not, I am not discrediting Jake at all as an incredibly difficult thing to do. However, Jake dictating the pace of this fight by standing behind cover and peeking out when he decides to peek out, absolutely one-bursting Scorch, redirecting his attention to Logic, Logic not landing the headshot he needs to finish that fight, allows Jake to finish it off. An incredibly huge triple kill to maintain the defense on this site. Granted, even though Vivid Obsidian wins this fight, they only have 1 defender left, and they're still down by 200 points with 20 seconds left, right? And so if you're in Quackpack, you're really not sweating that fight too much. It would have been very, very nice to win it It was your fight to win. You're still ahead. There's still only really one, soon to be two defenders on point. They're not going to be getting their points back very fast. And so if you mount a quick attack again, you can take full advantage of that and try to retake that pace, right? Put the pace back in your favor, retake that site. So we see Hop neglect to go to point here, which I think probably wasn't the greatest idea. I think when you're down like this with 20 seconds left, you probably need the points to stay in this fight to at least keep it close, especially as some very, very important points like C and D come through, coming soon. You want to minimize the lead as much as possible to have better chances at winning at D. However, I think the idea here was that Hop was trying to take advantage of this chaos and how long that fight took by trying to push out. Unfortunately, Hop was just a little bit too slow. And 3 members of Quack Pack are going to be in this area. It's only going to end up being 2 during this fight. However, Hop puts himself in a pretty bad position right now, as it allows Scorch to have a very nice sightline diagonally across A here, and allows Johnny to have an absolutely juicy straight-on sightline at Hut, forcing Hop to take one of these fights, which forces him to lose one of them. So now, again, Vivid Obsidian is starting this fight, down a man, 3 versus 4. Johnny is half HP. Maswi comes flying on in and does draw the attention of Jake. However, was able to dodge a lot of damage as he slides on in underneath this cover. This is significant because it's going to keep Jake preoccupied with Maswi as the rest of Quack Pack comes filing on in. Excuse me. Vizsla, a little bit exposed here on this LMG. Isn't the worst thing at the end of the world. Using cover would obviously be to your advantage, but he's just trying to stay mobile and keep the sideline off, especially against someone like Logic. Staying still behind cover probably isn't the best idea. Vizsla is going to try and put some bullets down range, and unfortunately isn't able to touch either of them. Logic, with the help of Johnny, are going to take him out incredibly swiftly. Nate Jake is going to take out Maswi, but takes heavy casualties to do so. And so you have a very healthy Revolver, a 75 HP Johnny against the full HP SMG, and Nate Jake on the FAMAS with 1 HP. Johnny is going to swing around and start pressuring these members, bringing them both incredibly low, which is going to allow for a very, very nice triple kill with the help of Logic landing some body shots to retake this point as 2. However, because Hop died so early, he's going to fly out in, try to do some damage. He's going to find 1 kill, find 2 kills. Everyone's cleared off. B, what is this Undergrowth B during this game was the story of minimizing damage. I would say no one really won the fight over this point. This point was pretty much a constant battle the entire time. And really the only team that probably lost was probably Quack Pack, as they had a 400 point lead to begin here. However, throughout that entire 1 minute affair, Vivid Obsidian was only able to come back with 300 more points. Again, the theme of this, minimizing damage, right? Quack Pack minimizing the amount of objective pressure that Vivid Obsidian is trying to bring. And Vivid Obsidian trying to minimize the amount of growth that Quack Pack is trying to stack on top of them, right? And so going into Undergrowth C here, after this fight, we're going to see Quack Pack start to redirect their attention towards C, try to get the first touch there, try to reset that pace in their favor, right? Always having that first touch, being the first team to defend, is incredibly important. Making sure that they're there first will help secure, hopefully put them in a better position for this first fight that happens here. And it's going to force Vivid Obsidian to try and stack the old site for as long as possible, delaying their push to try and keep it even. However, at the start of C, these two teams are about as even as you can get. 40 points separate them. However, Quack Pack is on the site first. As for, and Vivid Obsidian is trying to group up. They're going to go for a 1-3 push here with what looks like Hop, Jake, Vizsla. It looks like it's going to be Lazarn going to be pushing in from Tunnel, with Jake, Hop, and Vizsla pushing in from Rafters here. They are simply just waiting for Lazarn to get in position, and as soon as he does, they're going to keep up their speed. Nate Jake is going to go around the center block here to try and get some cover, and Logic is going to immediately start to try to click heads and find Hops in the process. Hop drops early, but is going to get traded out by Nate Jake. Maswi, though, realizing that Nate Jake is in some very, very powerful positioning here, allowing him to dictate pace of his own fights, using cover and using the FAMAS to his full advantage. Maswi, recognizing that threat, is going to go over and challenge him. Johnny and Scorch are going to try and take down Lazarn as soon as possible. Lazarn's able to land a bunch of hits on Johnny here, lowering him very, very low. However, Maswi finding the kill on JCK pretty much puts the nail in the coffin in this fight for any normal team. But Vizsla is full health, but you just absolutely get triangulated here. If anyone could do it, it would be Vizsla in that situation. However, you can't make magic all the time. And this is where it starts getting dangerous. You, as Vivid Obsidian, have now lost a fight where 3 members of Quack Pack are remained on point. Their lead is going to start to grow incredibly quickly here. Now, the 3 members of Quack Pack are very, very weak. However, as you see, Vivid Obsidian is going to get spawned in the absolute furthest point in the entire map that you could get spawned in as a attacker attacking C. Hop is going to try and push early, try to get some early damage. Going to be pushing in from tunnel. As we're looking at his perspective right now, we're not going to be seeing a whole lot of this fight that's happening, but Maswi is going to peeks outside of sight, fighting right outside of rafters, is going to find an early kill on Nate Jake, getting pressured down, is going to find some very valuable damage on Vizsla before dying. And Hop CX is going to die without finding any value here, right? That's pretty unfortunate. Hop finding a kill here was pretty pivotal on this kind of push. If you're going to send 1 person down tunnel and 3 people down main, generally your idea when it comes to that is that your 3 people down main are going to be essentially suppressive fire, being a major threat that the enemy team has to respond to, allowing the person who pushes as 1 to clean up the eliminations and just be a flanker, right? Your flanker dying early kind of makes that fall apart because now you're just a 3 versus 4 fight, pushing directly headlong into the team. It can work. It could be a bit difficult, though. And as we're going to see here, it's a 3v2. Logic is going to land a body shot on Lazarn before he dies. Vizsla's half HP. Lazarn drops by Johnny's hands. Scorch on the high ground, still uncontested, is going to clean up this fight. Nate Jake is going to try and fly on in, try to prolong this fight as long as possible. However, Johnny wasn't touched at all that fight, so he's full HP, ready to take advantage of it and stop them there. The lead grows ever larger. Hop trying to keep the... trying to not let Quack Pack get a moment to breathe, keeping the aggression up, is going to push straight into Maswi and not do any damage. This is pretty unfortunate. Getting caught out like that's really bad, because a term that was used in Overwatch a lot, which was the first game that I was competitively inclined to play, is you get back spawned. And so you would do this a lot with like a baby diva. You would save them as long as possible and then kill them at the very last second, because delaying their spawn would delay the attacker's push, right? And so killing Hop CX right there as Lazarn and Nate Jake, I believe, no, as Lazarn and Vizsla just spawn in over at D is really bad, because now you're putting your team on a 1-second timer before you can even push as 4 again, and not even your 4th member is up. That was a huge kill by Maswi. Maswi is still going to take this ratting position. He's going to do some damage on Lazarn. However, they're not going to get dumbfounded twice in a row. Lazarn's able to take that kill away from Maswi. However, the cavalry is arriving. Johnny was the sole member on point there for that entire time. And if Hop was able to get that kill on Maswi, maybe we'd be talking about a different game. However, because he wasn't, Logic was able to arrive. You're now pushing in as 1 LMG with not a whole lot of damage. 1 SMG who is half HP with not a whole lot of damage relative to the rest of the game. And Scorch is coming in from tunnel to try and clean this up. And so, rightfully so, Vizsla fucking turns around. Pushing into sight there would have been suicide. And so they are going to wait for Hop to respawn. Try to go for a full push right here. Nate Jake is going to be the one to start it. And fortunately, Vizsla is able to catch Maswi out. He catches him at Hut where he spawns and is going to find this kill very, very swiftly, allowing this 3v3 that Vizsla's put his team in to be respected, and for Vizsla to immediately turn around and make this a 4v3 as soon as that kill goes in. That was a huge kill by Vizsla. Finding Maswi out by Hut was massive. Nate Jake's going to fly on in, find a very, very early kill on Logic. Vivid Obsidian starts 2 kills up here. And so from there, it's pretty much just curtains. Scorch is very preoccupied, trying to put bullets down range by the threat way at the end at Vizsla. If you're trying to challenge a LMG at range, don't bother. You won't be able to kill them. They got too much health. It allows Hop to come around and have the absolutely juiciest sightline of his life and put 3 bullets in the brain and win the fight. The first one fight by Vivid Obsidian here on C. However, 35 seconds have passed, and Quack Pack is up by 500 points. Not the greatest position you want to be in. Typically, if you're a team, you want to build your lead as high as possible, so when you go to D, you have as much free to fuck up as you can, right? If you are a defending team, you want your lead as absolutely monumental as you can, because you really don't want to leave the game up to Undergrowth D. Undergrowth D is the most important point on Undergrowth. It's a wall site. It's incredibly powerful, really strong rat spots, really strong spots that you can sit on point to take fights. But if you leave it all up to D and you lose it, there's no more game to be played after Undergrowth D. You just lost. It's over. Curtains. Wrap it up. And so having this lead as Quack Pack is very, very valuable right now. And so if you are Quack Pack, even after losing this fight, you're okay, because all you have to do is regroup and simply play for eliminations, right? Vivid Obsidian is on their last 20 seconds here of C. Viz is going to stack on, and they might be able to make up around 200 points, especially when Nate Jake spawns back in. Maybe he's going to join. However, if you're Quack Pack, you can push this fight as fast as you can, dictate that pace, keep the pace high, finding eliminations. You don't even need to go for a retake. You can, but that might be a little bit of an overinvestment. If you just find eliminations and take members of Vivid Obsidian off site, you can prevent them from getting objective, keep your lead, and then have first touch on D to win this game. So we'll see what they do here. Viz is going to join his team. Nate Jake gets a incredibly fortunate spawn here at round. Spawning here at D probably would have been way worse for them, but spawning here at round is massive. If Nate Jake spawns at D, he probably pushes over here by Rafter and then gets caught out by Logic, Maswi, and Johnny as they push into this new site, kind of trashing the chances of Vivid Obsidian winning the next fight. However, Nate Jake spawning rounds is absolutely huge. So he's going to meet onto point, and now Vivid Obsidian is in damage control. They need to stack, they need to soak, and so they're going to try and get positions to kill. However, they cannot like sit in spots like this corner here. They can't be like Maswi and sit over here by Rafter. They have to soak on point because they're already down by so much. They've already accrued around 100 points since then, but it's going to be a huge push down tunnel, immediately taking out JCK, Nate Jake, the only person defending that sight line. A very, very quick kill by Johnny, and Johnny's going to get away with it, right? He's going to make it into sight and then immediately drag attention over to this right side. That's going to force a response from Lazarn or Hop to try and take care of Johnny as a threat, therefore dragging their attention away from this huge 3-man threat that's coming in through tunnel. It's going to be Lazarn with his attention pulled away, but as we see, just as I said, right, having your attention pulled away like that is going to leave your teammates weak, defending that sight line. And it's going to absolutely turn your back as you take care of this 10 HP SMG right behind you. Nani is a full health FAMAS who is just going to go to work on you. And so even though they're probably just playing for a bit of a scrappy fight here, they're able to get the retake on a very, very clean retake off the back of a very early kill by Johnny on Nate Jake. Johnny getting the kill on Nate Jake and then making it into sight was huge, right? If Johnny doesn't make it into sight, that fight probably goes differently. Because then Lazarn's attention isn't drawn over here to this right side. He's able to support his team as this pushes in from tunnel. And maybe they're able to put it in this damage. Maybe find Logic a little bit earlier. Scorch misses a couple crucial shots, right? The possibilities are there. However, Johnny making it into that site and then pulling attention away by jumping over to here to this right side and using cover was absolutely huge. And you can see what I see. Once we watch it in real time, immediately as soon as Lazarn looks away, the fence falls apart on that left half of the site, and it goes right back into Quack Pack's hands. Quack Pack growing their lead ever larger. They are perfectly okay with that retake. I don't know if they're even expecting to win that fight. Pushing S4 on tunnel typically is a push that doesn't generally go well if it's well defended. However, they are just going to soak up the last remaining points here on C and allow Vivid Obsidian to get the first touch on D. I don't know how strong of a decision that is. It ended up being worth it because Vivid Obsidian does end up spawning on D, right? If Vivid Obsidian spawned, say, somewhere over here by B, that would have been a misplay for Quack Pack to soak the last few seconds here, right? Because having the first touch on D as Quack Pack would put you in an even better spot than maybe soaking up an extra 100 points on C would. However, I think if they were to push it now, with Vivid Obsidian getting the spawn, it would have been good, right? So it's a bit of a rough position. Quack Pack decides to play it safe, stack on point, soak up the last remaining seconds, and allow Vivid Obsidian to have the first defense here on D. The issue comes when we start to talk about how Undergrowth D is defended, right? Undergrowth D is probably, in my opinion, either the strongest or second strongest wall site in the entire game. And it just depends on how you play Sandstorm, right? Sandstorm is up there as well. But the reason why Undergrowth D is such a strong site is for a number of reasons. Firstly, there is a spawn point on this site. The spawn point being on this site right here absolutely is critical for the strength of this site, because it allows defenders to take decisive fights, and even if they take casualties, generally their teammates will spawn right back on site and immediately go back to gaining value for their team by standing on that objective, right? Whereas on other wall sites, say for example your site D, that wall site is not as strong. There's not a spawn point on that site. It's a little bit wider. And so if you die, you're taken out of the fight for a few seconds, and the attacking team has a little bit of a chance to breathe. Undergrowth D doesn't have that luxury. Undergrowth D, you spawn on site. Additionally, the positions that you can hold on site as D are incredibly strong, right? You can hold inside this pocket right here on this box. You can hold on top of this box. You can hold right here in this corner. You can hold back here in this corner and get a nice sight line right here. A lot of places that you can form some very, very nice crossfires to defend Undergrowth D and earn objective points at the exact same time. The cherry on top is that even if you want to stand off-site, the spots that you can stand off-site to defend D are even stronger, right? Standing behind pillars is one of the highest fucking KD places that you can stand if you're defending Undergrowth D. It's such good cover. You have such incredible sightlines. It's so hard as an attacker to even get hits off on you. It's almost a head glitch, it feels like. You as a defender can stand right here behind tree, and as attackers push in right here from rafter or push in from short, from elbow, they have their backs turned to you, and so you get a nice sight line from here. You can stand right here in fountain and head glitch. There's so many spots that you can defend off-site on D to secure a dub. However, you are only afforded that privilege if you're winning. And this is where Vivid Obsidian's put in a pretty bad situation. They're down by 500 points right now on Undergrowth D. If any point's going to get them their lead back, it's going to be this objective. However, because they're down by so much, they're forced to soak at least for the first fight or two. And so they can't take these TDM spots that would get them more value in the future, or more kill value in fights, right? They have to soak onto this point, which puts them at a little bit of a defensive disadvantage. That doesn't mean you can't win this fight. As we see, Hop is going to try and sit backside right now, knowing the importance that this first fight has to go in their favor. But it's going to be a little bit more difficult, deciding then again to go right back to site because they need to stack as 4. Immediately, Quack Pack is going to jump into action. We're going to see what is to be... Let me rewind so we can catch the push as fast as it comes. Immediately, we're going to see a big 2-2 push here. 2 are going to push from rafters, from this hallway right here, and 2 are going to be pushing in from elbow, immediately trying to split the attention. Pushing in as a 2-2 isn't as valuable as pushing in 2-2 from other sites. The sight line that you're watching, if you're watching either of these sight lines, it's not that much of a flick to cover either one. However, it is still a good idea to not stack, to fully stack as 4 to prevent the amount of collateral damage you do. Hey, how you doing, Hop? We're just talking about you. Vivid Obsidian is going to respond. They're going to get some early information. I think Hop probably saw members of Quack Pack run through this rafters area over here. And that's where you're going to see a very, very heavy stack here by Vivid Obsidian. I want to say Hop is still in this corner right here by this wall. trying to set up a little bit of a sight line is going to play a bit defensively. I think they're going to wait for the enemy team to approach the site, walk in to try and keep their the attention of the enemy team split, right? If you can force the enemy team to walk into your walls, then you already have them on the back foot, because then you can split their attention into a 180-degree flick, and it makes their life incredibly difficult. However, unfortunately, Elbow is spectating the one person that's not in this fight right now. Masui gets a couple, tries to get a few wall bangs in. However, this fight is started off by the Johnny on the SMG absolutely growing wings and flying in at light speed to get the first kill on Nate Jake. And this is the beginning of the end. If you are Vivid Obsidian, winning this first fight is absolutely critical, right? You're down by 500 points. If you can win this first fight, you might be only down by 300 points after that, and then you can have people hide behind pillars, you can have someone hide behind tree, right? You can have people in these rat spots to help offensively defend your point. However, if you don't win this fight, the site goes right back to Quack Pack, who already has a 500-point lead, and now you're in trouble. First kill goes Johnny's way. He is going to trade his life. Hop is going to trade his life away. However, not without some damage being done. Vizsla is very, very low on this LMG. A class that you really need to be high HP to have value, while the three other members of Quack Pack are absolutely full HP and are in very, very nice sightlines to take full advantage of this. And right off the bat, like a fucking sniper from the weeds, Logic finds that shot. Let's watch that again. Watch how important this shot is. Even if Scorch misses this kill, Lazarn jumps up in the air, and Logic snipes him. Probably 10, 15, 20 frames that Lazarn's head was available. Or that was a body shot. But probably like what? 15, 20 frames, Lazarn's body was able to be shot, and Logic finds it, taking away a huge damage source from the team. Scorch already having a very nice sightline head here. It's Hop against the world. Unfortunately, the world beats Hop. Sorry, Hop. And this is the position that you absolutely don't want to be in. This is the position that Quack Pack has been working for this entire game. From the start of A, into B, into C, we have talked about pace. We have talked about maintaining pace, keeping pace, resetting pace. And pace is no bigger of an issue than when we talk about Undergrowth. Because the biggest site in Undergrowth, the most important point in the entire map, is Undergrowth D. And you can't reset pace after Undergrowth D. The game's over. And so you have to have momentum. You have to keep pace. You have to keep on the offensive into Undergrowth D. You have to afford yourself the time to mess up, if you are going to mess up, to win these games. Quack Pack winning at A, keeping it even at B, and then winning through C is what allows them to have this incredibly valuable position here on D. This map was not decided at D. The "you have secured this round" was sent out midway through D, but this map was not decided at D. This map was decided around a minute ago, 30 seconds into C, when Quack Pack beat Vivid Obsidian on their 3-hold. Quack Pack taking this site means that Vivid Obsidian has to win this fight. If Vivid Obsidian doesn't win this fight, it quickly becomes mathematically impossible for Vivid to come back from this one, from this point. We're going to see a 3-1 push, 3 pushing in from elbow. Lazarn is going to use this movement to fly on in, doing exactly what we've talked about Johnny do in this entire fight, trying to use the movement and the crouching in the air to break the hitbox, to try and take as much attention away from where the real push is coming from, to be a mosquito, a thorn in the side, to distract against the real threat that's coming in from elbow and coming in from rafters. Lazarn, unfortunately, is only able to do a little bit of damage before he does die. However, it's going to force them to look away, at least temporarily. Nate Jake comes flying on in. Lazarn was able to call out that he saw Johnny in the corner behind tree, right? We talked about how valuable that position is when you're in the lead. We see Quack Pack take advantage of that position. So Hop is immediately going to turn around, but Vizsla turns around too. That's a double committal. 2 backs are facing the revolver and the AK. Nate Jake is there trying to put in some work, but is going to die by Masui's hands. Masui's going to swing around and see a very full health Vizsla, put in a ton of rounds, gets the kill, but Hop clutches up and secures the spawn point for Vivid Obsidian. Vivid's still in this game. Like I said, if Vivid loses that fight, it's over, right? If Vivid loses that fight, the game's over. They're already down by 600 points at the start of this, right? Being in this position right here, right now, is just not the place you want to be. Vivid taking that dub, Vivid taking that victory keeps them in this game temporarily. They cannot take casualties. Hey, mommies, how's it going, buddy? Thanks for the follow. We're just wrapping this up. We're doing a little bit of analysis stream of last week's KPL to sort of set the scene of what's going to happen tonight. Here at about 45 minutes. So, Vivid Obsidian retakes this point. However, it's the same thing we talked about earlier, right? You're down by 600 points. Now you're down 30 seconds. You physically cannot afford to rat. You can't afford to be here camping tree. You can't afford to be here behind pillars. You can't afford to be here in fountain. You have to be on point. You have to stay on site. Vivid knows this, and more importantly, Quack Pack knows this. So you're going to see them completely ignore this tree, absolutely push in like absolute apes as fast as humanly possible, because all Quack Pack has to do right now, is find kills. The win condition for Quack Pack has changed, right? The win condition for Vivid is to hold this site with maybe 1-2 casualties for the next 30 seconds. The win condition for Quack Pack is to simply put, just find eliminations. And Logic does that. And Scorch does that. And Logic does that. And Nate Jake tries to keep up. But it's one casualty from Quack Pack. It's a full 4 sweep from Logic and Scorch, each finding their double kills. And for a moment, chat held their breath. Because the map that Vivid Obsidian has been so good on for months in a row, a map that I've only ever seen them lose rounds on twice before, they drop round 1. It's at this point, with 20 seconds left, at a 600, coming to a 700 point lead, even with the fucking nastiest triple kill from Vizsla that 2022 has yet to see. The game's over. You're down by 600 points. You can't win this. Even though you have the spawn point, 10 seconds is going to tick down, but you've already lost too much objective. The work that Quack Pack put in at A and C finally bears fruit. Quack Pack takes round 1 away from Vivid Obsidian. And I'll let the rest of this play out in its full. We see Hop just standing in the corner, realizing that this round is over. I'm sure they're just calming right now, talking about what they want to do for the next few points. And that was round 1 of the finals of last week's KPL. Now, it's not a sad story. Vivid Obsidian was able to clutch up the reverse sweep, looking significantly stronger in the next few rounds, right? We talked about pace this entire analysis video, and that shows in these next 2 rounds as well, right? Whereas Quack Pack dictated the pace on A and C in this round, Vivid Obsidian dictated the pace on A and B on the next 2 rounds, right? And that's where Vivid Obsidian was able to win their game. However, for a brief moment, the Vivid Obsidian believers held their breath. The Quack Pack cheerers absolutely pogging out of their minds. Chat was going crazy. Vivid bleeds.